Peace, my family, and borrow back to all those coming out of that good cocoon for the first time. Welcome. This your girl, the butterfly. We about to take off. Let's fly. Just want to send you all that good healing energy your way. Peace, love, happiness, harmony, and abundance. Hope you guys are out there keeping your mind right in that good mind. How y'all feeling? Hope you guys most definitely moving on up. And your higher natures and cleansing. Yeah, you know what's up. We gotta cleansing the loads, family. I came out here today to express, and what's very important on this good journey with them, and this is how I was taught by my master teacher, Dr. Malachi, by just following instructions, right? And the pamphlets of peace, the scrolls, the books, they lead you and guide you to the right knowledge that you're supposed to know here and now in these days and times and in your lifetimes, right? And it's very important that we take the time to take heed to the treasure, because the treasure is the right knowledge, and if applied to your life, it could change your life forever for the better. Because again, family, in order to move up into the higher realms of existence, you have to know the knowledge, right, of the rims of our family. You have to know who you are, and it's very important. And not the part that people like, the stuff that make you feel good. You gotta know the whole truth of it all, right? And yeah, sometimes it is hard to sit on, sometimes it gets a little heavy, but in time it does get lighter, and you become lighter with it once you begin to accept what it is. Like I say, it is what it is, and all you can do is just do better, right, with what the Most High has for you. And it's a beautiful experience, because it really just, the journey with them, to me, and this is my experience, it really makes you expand and stretch every part of you and get to know the real you and tap into your inner being and really begin to see the true beauty of life and existence and what it really all is, right? And we must understand that everything that we've been told about, life in this world, from the world, is a straight up lie. And it's many lies in it, and it's specks of truth there, right? But at the end of the day, it's not about getting your knowledge and information from the world. It's about getting it from the Most High, who created you all, right? That's very key, and it's very important to sit on, because it's mystery, yes, it's things that you need to know, yes, and once you want to know, right, so you can be prepared, right, so you don't be caught off guard and looking around like, what's really going on, right, moving in fear and all of that, which is something that we're not supposed to be doing. Living a low vibration, something that we're not supposed to be doing. The purpose is to get back to your higher self and begin to live it truthfully, right? The flaws and all, right? And even when you begin to, this is my experience, right? even when you begin to move into your higher self, you always going to have things you have to work on. Nobody is perfect. Again, family, we all make mistakes, right? And things that we do, right? Which it's all lessons, right? But the key thing here is, did you learn the lesson? Because if it keeps reoccurring in your life, that's something to examine. And if you're so used to low vibrational energies and toxicity and things that, constantly have you in that type of state, it's definitely something to question about yourself and why, you feel like, you have to adapt in those type of environments, especially if you don't have to, and it's by choice. Now, sometimes life, of course, you're in environments and around people sometimes, and you don't really have a choice to how to move when you're younger and things like that. But as an adult, when you begin to start making your own decisions, adulting out here, now it's on you to decide, what you want to do and how you want to maneuver your life. And it's very important that, you be mindful of the company that you keep. This is very much key. It's something that I learned on my journey, and I battle with a lot because, again, whether you know it or not, the people that you allow in your life, it matters, and they can affect you in many different ways. And at the end of the day, when we're on this type of journey, right, a lot of people are not going to understand, right, especially if they're not living the journey. And it's something that, the Most High is showing you. And of course, people are going to be looking like a deer with the headlights on. Like, what are you on? What are you talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? And really just, don't know. And that's okay, right? Because everybody is on their journey and they have to walk it on their own, right? You could try to give people, gems and, jewels and, nuggets and, try to help them see certain things. But you learn that people see what they want to see and when they want to see it, when they're ready, not because you're trying to explain to them your experiences and what you're going through, right? Either way, that's why it's so crucial that when you're on this journey, this is about getting closer, getting back to the Most High. This is what it is, and that's building that, getting prepared for that marriage, right? That's what this is preparing for, and it's marriage within the Most High in the kingdom, right? That's the focus, right? And everything else kind of really falls to the wayside at the end of the day, because you realize that you got somewhere to go, you got things to do, and you got work to do, your Father's work, right? It's very important that people really see that you have a purpose here, and a lot of people don't know their purpose, right? Their purpose is to get back to the Most High, but a lot of people don't know this, right? Because again, a lot of people weren't told, and this is ancient knowledge and wisdom, right? And through time you begin to see what I'm talking about if you actually take the time to check it out for yourself. The right knowledge is always on the channel. Our Master Teacher's books is the right knowledge, right? For you to get into it and study and read and get to know life the way the Most High has created it, right? And what has happened, right? The whole Big Bang, right? It's beautiful because, again, realizing that nothing compared to the balanced universe, is you're always forever the student, you're always there to learn and grow. And again, as you begin to pick up more information off of things, you learn more about the world, realizing that Earth is a school and you're here to learn because you're going to need it. moving on into the next life, right? Or the higher life, right? It's things you're gonna need to know. And a lot of people don't even know that certain things exist, right? And it's very key, because at the time when you're walking into the unknown, you may not know at first, of course, and it's gonna feel uncomfortable. It may feel a little scary for you, right? Because you don't know what you're doing, or you don't know what direction you're going in, and things like that. That's a part of it, family. Don't get discouraged, because when you begin to really take in what the Most High has for you, and begin to realize and have an open mind that you know nothing, right? That's wisdom, right? And when you begin to learn, right, and you're willing to learn, and that's when it all begins, right? That's when it really begins for you, when you are willing to learn, right? Not feeling like, oh, I got it all, comparing all this information to everyone else's, because again, information from man and information from the Most High is two different things. It can definitely lead you astray, straight up, listening to the theories and opinions of man and not going with the facts of the Most High. It's very important. The facts of life. And people can, always sit around and go back and forth and examine this, that, and the other, and just try to come to conclusion with research and things like that, which is good sometimes too, of course. Sometimes it's good to, connect certain dots and what you already know, right? It's beautiful. But remember, at the same time, don't get so caught up in it all where, you just going back and forth, and then you're like, oh, this couldn't be, this, and just keep questioning to where it's like you lose yourself. Because again, it's about questioning everything, but at the same time, when you are given treasure from the Most High, you're given the right knowledge, and you're getting everything that you need, right? The tools that you need to really understand life, right? That's something to just really sit back and be a little at awe, because it's just like no one can prepare you like the Most High. I'm just saying. You can try to get it from other people, but family, no one is going to get you back in tune like the Most High gets you back in tune, family. And this is what the omnipotent Jesus, the one appointed Yahshua, Tammuz, Horus, wanted you to know, right? But at the time when he came, we weren't prepared for what he had to say. He was taught in the mystery schools, family. So it's a lot of things that people really don't know, right? And the whole study is, getting prepared for the afterlife and making sure you're ready, and living your life in the laws of Maya, and living your life and fulfilling your destiny while you're here, and connecting back to your galactical family, right? To your spiritual family, right? People try to make it seem like it's but realizing that we are spiritual beings, right? When we transcend on, we're going to be in spiritual bodies, not physical bodies, right? But again, what I learned is in different realms of existence, right? When you get into it, it does become physical, like it's a physical place, right? It becomes physical, right? And it gets deeper, family. It gets deeper, because as you get into the higher realms of existence, you realize that the angels are as physical as you are right now too, right? So it gets deeper, family. And once you begin to really see this, and like, man, it's a lot you really don't know, right? And that's good. That's good to admit that. Admit when you don't know something. It's a beautiful thing, because it allows you to really have an open mind and sit back and learn, right? And And we begin to do this, it's just like the whole boundless universes begin to open up to you because you are willing to be a student. And of course, there's mastery in it. Of course, there's levels and stages to things, and everybody's time of leveling up to the next stage is on them. And a part of it all, when you're just, wanting to do all that, you have to first take care of what you're in right now. This world, right? You gotta take care of what you gotta conquer this world first. What do I mean by conquer the world? You gotta do what you came here to do first. You gotta fulfill your destiny, right? You gotta get to a point where you can communicate and connect back, and you'll see the ships. You'll see the ships, right? Your body will turn into one, right? All of it. And you're there, and X marks the spot, right? When you're there, when you have developed enough and done the work, the inner work that is needed. And when you begin to detach and break away from the world and the desires of it. Because again, we have desire. You feel like, oh yeah, I want to, do this and do that. There's nothing wrong with this, but when you let it run your life, where you feel like this is what your life is all about, family. When your life is all about getting back and connected, getting back to the Most High. That's what life is. So that's your purpose, family. And that's what I'm speaking on. See, we get blinded by the illusions and the things of this world to get us distracted and attracted to things that are earthly. And again, all of it is something just to, again, watch like a movie. And of course you're gonna participate, but of course it's like watching life like a movie. You're gonna participate in things you have to do. You have to have responsibilities and do what you gotta do. But again, it's just about being mindful of what you choose to do, being mindful of what you tune into, being mindful of the things that you're doing and what you tune into, like what you're feeding your mind, because of course the universes are mental, right? And it's mental. And so you have to be mindful of what you're constantly feeding your mind. You got to be mindful of what you're constantly scrolling and listening to, who you're listening to, what they're telling you, right? You got to be mindful if they're helping you or not, right? You got to be mindful of what you're tuning into with the media, the TV, because that's all mental and mind control to control in your way of thinking, when in reality we're supposed to be thinking for ourselves. When you begin to turn the TV off, when you begin to not scroll so much on the social media platforms like that, and because again, as you scrolling through, you're taking in a lot of information and a lot of things that is, like a portal of information flowing through every screen on endless, time, right? As far as it's like eventually you're gonna get distracted, and time is something that you need to be mindful of, right? And it's good not to waste it, right? Especially on useless information, right? Yeah, it's cool every once in a while. Okay, I want to sit and scroll for maybe 30 minutes to an hour just to have some fun, to see what people want, see what people doing, But the key thing there is don't get distracted, because really, and I'm just keeping it all 100 with y'all, right? We really don't even have time, because again, like I said, the math teacher has given us a balanced amount of information, and we got a lot to learn, right? And we're gonna be learning and even learning now, even more and more, right? And it's so much to learn, right? That is what the Anunnakis do. They study, family. They read, they learn. And that's what raises your consciousness levels up. That's what raises your frequencies and vibrations up. It's all mental. It's all about what you know and what you apply to your life. And once you begin to break away, you already know what direction you're going in. You're going to meet the Most High, right? That's what direction you're going in, and that's what direction people need to be, wanting to go in, right? Because again, like the scriptures say, you die to the not knowing, the lack of knowledge. And knowledge is key. Knowledge is power, right? And it begin to gain that power, from the choices that you make within yourself, and knowing, okay, certain things are not good for me. I'm gonna start wearing myself off of these things. And slowly, that's when you begin to start the spiritual cleanse, because that's what is needed. That's when you begin to start to purify yourself. When you begin to break away from things and start eating more of a healthier way, or feeding yourself healthier ways of being. Like, instead of sitting here and watching, useless television of all these things that's putting images in your mind, I'm gonna just, listen to a video by Master Dr. Malachi get some knowledge, or meditate, or go exercise, or go get you a smoothie, or go get you something good to eat, or simple things, right? And or I'm listening to some music, just feel good, or I'm gonna go do an activity, somewhere, healthy activity, something fun, somewhere where you take your child, go off and take a walk in nature, smell the roses, smell the flowers, sit back and chill, That's how you begin to slow your life down. Sip some tea, Really think about and sit and digest the things that you already know. Right? Go read a book, And when you begin to feed yourself good stuff begin to come out. And things begin to happen for your good, right? Because when you feed in with the Most High wanted you to have, you're only moving towards your highest good, right? When you start listening to the world and into all those things it's in it, oh yeah, your life gonna be off balance, and you're gonna be going down that downward spiral towards self-destruction. I'm just telling you, because this is exactly what happened to me. You begin to start feeding yourself the wrong things, and putting other things more important than what you're here for, right? Which is getting back to the Most High, because everything else, again, really doesn't matter, right? When you begin to see it like that. And that takes time to see this like this, because it takes you falling, right? Making mistakes, learning, seeing for yourself. We hard-headed out here. Some people really got to learn the hard way, and I was there, right? And again, it's real. People gotta have those experiences for themselves to see what's up too. And it's sad to say, but it is what it is. People gotta learn the hard way. Because you can sit here and say, oh yeah, I learned from this person, I learned from that person, and this, that, but it's all about you, family, what you gonna do. You can easily learn, but then it's like, are you going to apply what you learn? Are you going to really be about it? And that's when the journey also begins, because when you begin to see how much you have to break away from, how much you've been taught about as a child about the world, and it's nothing like what you thought it was. And that's the big mind-blowing experience. That's the big awakening moments, because you will have them throughout the whole journey, right? And light bulb moments through time. once you begin to learn how to juggle people, places, and things, and begin to move yourselves in the direction that the Most High is calling you to move, is real. And you're not going to, everything's not going to be the same anymore, right? It's going to be good for your highest good, and it's all out of love, right? But everything's not going to be the same, because you realize you're going to have to let people go, and it's all out of love, but the Most High is calling you, right? And you got to answer that call. It's going to require you to not go into certain environments anymore that's draining your energy, just keeping you in those toxic vibes and lowering your frequency. It's going to, you're not going to be able to do those things anymore. You're not even going to want to. It's not going to feel good anymore. It's just poisonous. And once you begin to start feeling good, when you begin to spend more time with the Most High, when you begin to, that's your activities, right? When you begin to do that and really take it all in and get to know yourself, right? And stop lying to yourself about how you really feel, right? Express it. Talk to yourself, or write it out. People write all the time how they really feel. And sometimes it's good to go back and read it and see how far you come. Create a journal of your life, how you feel on this day. It's a beautiful thing when you begin to see how the Most High is working with you, or you set your positive prayers and affirmations and things like that. All of those things matter, right? And once you begin to move for the better, move for the good, doing things for the good of it all, for the love of it all, that's when you begin to start moving in those higher frequencies. And no matter what happens, right? Because you're going to have oppositions and things like that trying to pull you back into those frequencies. But you got to realize what that is. And that's why it's so important to pay attention. And that's when that juggle, that battle within yourself, that battle with your agreeable and disagreeable part of yourself, that's when that begins to happen. 1 minute. Realizing that you got somewhere to be, you got some things to do, you got a whole lot to do. And again, you don't got no time to be playing around. Live your life, but make sure you pay attention to what you're doing, because all of it matters, and all of it is preparing you right now. Alright, so I'm going to leave it at that for now, family. Again, I want you all to know that you are loved beyond this world and in it. Begin to spread that love one to another. Be the peace that you seek. Release, our master teacher, Dr. Malachi L. Peace, shalom, hashug, divine love, family, and wadu. And it's all love.